In this educational video, I will be discussing ways to reduce sodium in the diet. I will be covering some popular foods that have a high sodium content, methods for reducing sodium content, and salt alternatives and seasonings. Before we get started, I would like for you to look at this picture and think about the question presented. This picture shows the amount of salt needed daily, the amount of salt that is recommended for daily consumption, the upper level of what should be consumed, and the amount that most Americans actually consume on a daily basis. So how much sodium do you think you consume in comparison to this? Now let's get started. Foods that are high in sodium content include canned vegetables and soups, fried foods, food from restaurants or fast food places, processed foods and prepared meals, as well as processed or cured meats such as bacon and sausage. Some actions you can take to reduce the amount of sodium in your foods are to drain and rinse canned vegetables, dilute canned soups with milk or water, buy canned foods that say reduced or low sodium, and you can also bake, grill, or steam your foods instead of frying them. Some additional methods you can take to reduce the sodium content in your food is to cook at home as often as possible and limit how much you eat out. To salt certain foods after they have been cooked, so for example, salting your pasta once it is finished cooking rather than salting the water you cook it in. To limit how many salt shakers you leave out on tables and counters, to limit the chance that you will add salt to your food after you have fixed your plate. And you can also limit the use of high sodium sauces and condiments like soy sauce, ketchup, and ranch dressing. Salt alternatives and seasonings can be used to add flavor to your food but keep sodium content low. Some examples of these are salt-free seasoning blends like Mrs. Dash, fresh, dry, or ground herbs and spices such as garlic powder, basil, oregano, cilantro, onion powder, paprika, and chili powder. There are many different seasoning options available in ground and powders. And you can also use fresh onions, peppers, or garlic. And then you can add vinegars, lemon and lime juice, and some oils with low amounts of saturated and trans fats, such as olive oil. In summary, we have discussed common foods that have a high amount of sodium, strategies that can be used to reduce the amount of sodium in certain foods, meals, and overall in the diet, and salt alternatives and seasonings that can be used to increase the flavor of food without using a bunch of salt and still making eating enjoyable.